Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
And welcome to the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. We're located at 231 FM 1092, Stafford, Texas, 77477. Those of you that are not familiar with the Houston surrounding areas, it is a part of Houston. Our class days haven't changed, still the same. Monday and Wednesday, 7 to 9. Friday, 6 to 8. Shabbat morning class, 10 to 2. Virginia, still doing their thing. On 2610 Granby Street, Norfolk, Virginia, 23517. Their class days are Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 to 9. And the Sabbath class is the same time as ours here, but they don't air it there. Rochester, if you want a class out in Rochester, you can hit up Zion. His number is 757-762-3917. Their class days are the same as Virginia's. San Antonio, they're still in the same location. That info should be on the screen. Their class days are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:30 to 10 p.m. and Sabbath, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Got other ways that you can stay connected through the Blog Talk Radio. That's blogtalkradio.com/Meshaba. That's every Tuesday and Thursday. We got other YouTube channels. You know, you can share it with your friends, your family members, co-workers, anybody that you come in contact with that you might not be able to quite fully break down something for them. The classes, the 5 minutes of wisdom, they're all there. If you go to one of our subscriptions, you'll see all of them. And they're very good tools to use while you're out on the road, while you're dealing with people. You can shoot them a class so they can get the full understanding versus just, you know, the 1 or 2 scriptures that you might have on deck locked and loaded in your brain. They can get a whole two-hour class breaking down that question they got. The upcoming feast, we got Purim coming up. We have a date?
Not yet.
Well, Purim is
It's in March sometime.
it's in March.
Yeah,
Okay.
we gotta get that.
So we got about a month and a half. So that's coming up, and then of course Passover. Passover is going to be April 17th. You know, I feel like it was just Passover. So that's coming up.
Please make sure to fill out, if you plan on getting the garment and being in Passover, please fill out the link with your size and all that stuff. Get your payment in. That way they can start getting to work on that. We got 4 months. We got 3.5. 3 and 1/4. Time is gonna fly, so get that in.
Yep. So yeah, get that in there. There's a link in the description box. So or it's there on the screen right now.
Is there a link?
It's in the description box.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a link in the description box. Israel World still accepting orders. Check them out. Get your daily gear up. Get a nice Friends t-shirt with a witty decal on it. Something biblical. Turn the heads, make people think. Let people know what you represent. Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. So yeah, sign for that Israel World if you haven't already. Hebrew Academy is done in Rochester and Virginia every Monday. And it's done every Tuesday here in Houston. If you need to reach a priest or teacher, you can reach priest Kazakia. His number is 757-300-4047. Or you can reach priest Quatazak at 303-557-8979. And if I say it too fast, the good thing about it is their number is right there on the screen. You can just hit the pause button. All right, we got a business, Sweet Ambiance. You know, that we like to actually support. Great business, keep smelling good. Aromatherapeutic oils, cologne fragrances, perfume fragrances, bath bomb, body butters, like you name it, we got it. When it comes to hygiene and smelling good. So check us out, sweetambiance.com. If you want to drop any alms or donations, you can drop that into the Wells Fargo account. That info should be there on the screen, or you can Cash App or Zelle. If you want to send the supplies, books, pens, papers, apocryphals, dictionaries, anything that you feel like we could use here at the school or give to brothers and sisters that are new that come in, you can send that, you can hit up Priest Quatazop and he'll give you a good address where you can mail those items to. And that's it for the announcements.
Yeah, how's everybody feeling?
Shalom.
Do we, before we get into this topic, I know Ivy had 2 questions. Anybody got questions? Okay, other than the little ones.
That's dope, though.
Yeah, the kids shouldn't have more questions than everybody else. But Mina, hold on, okay? Well, yeah, Ivy, you had a question, right? It was Romans, what?
Chapter 1, verses 14 through 16.
Right, so her question is in Romans chapter 1 and verse 14. So what was your question on that?
Really, when he says to the Jew first and also to the Greek,
Right?
is he talking about, just Israelites who were just under the certain captivities, and the Jews who are like following their, the traditions and all of that?
Right. Okay, so you kind of want to know that, who was he talking to?
Yeah.
Right?
Are Greeks and Jews, were they the same?
Were the Greeks and the Jews the same? Okay. Well, first and foremost, read Romans chapter 1 and verse 7.
Romans chapter 1, verse 7.
Yeah, read Romans 1 and 7. Let's just understand who is he writing to in this letter. Read.
To all that be in Rome,
Right. Go ahead.
beloved of God,
Right.
called to be saints,
Right.
grace to you and peace from God our Father.
Right. So the problem with religion is that Christianity, the Christian church and religion, they read that and they're like, see, he wrote to everybody. Right? He said to all that be in Rome. Right? And you'd be thinking like, oh, so he was writing to Esau, right? He was writing to the Romans, the Edomites, right? He was writing to anybody that considered themselves a Roman citizen. Right? But what we go through and show and prove that he wasn't writing specifically to those, the Romans themselves, but that we as Israelites were scattered, and Rome was one of the places that we were heavily populated. Remember, we were under Roman captivity for a number of years. Then the Romans came in, number 70 AD, Pompey, Titus, the Romans came in, they sieged Jerusalem, and the people scattered. So that's what we have to understand, is that we fled to different places. We fled into Rome, right? We lived amongst the Romans, the Israelites. Paul, being an Israelite, right, from the tribe of Benjamin, right? He was born where? Who knows? Huh?
In Rome.
He was born in Rome. He was a Roman citizen. He was born in Rome, right? So, he knew his nationality. He knew that he was an Israelite, tribe of Benjamin. He states it in what is that, Philippians? Right? Go there real quick. And we're going to understand, who was he dealing with when he said the Jew and the Greek, and what was he talking about? Because that gets real confusing to people, and they're like, well, see, he's talking to everybody. Where do I want to go to? Hebrews, tribe of Benjamin. Where do I want to go? I'm having a brain fart. Who got me? And it's important to know, because if not, you'll get caught up like the church, thinking that Paul came for everybody, thinking that Christ came for everybody. Come on, y'all supposed to add that one. Yeah, it was Philippians. Philippians 3. Go to Philippians chapter 3, read verse 5.
Philippians chapter 3, verse 5.
Go ahead.
Circumcised the 8th day.
Read up. Read verse 2.
Verse what? 2.
Read verse 2.
Philippians chapter 3, verse 2. Beware of dogs.
Right.
Beware of evil workers. Beware of the
No. Okay, my bad. Read verse 3.
verse 3.
Yeah.
For we are the circumcision which worship God in the Spirit
Go ahead.
and rejoice in Christ Jesus
Right, read.
and have no confidence in the flesh.
No, it is verse 5. Go ahead. Read I'm sorry. Forgive me, y'all. Read verse 5.
Oh, okay, God. Verse 5.
Yep.
Circumcised the 8th day.
Right, so this is Paul. He's letting us know a few things here. Because him being a man that was born in Rome and has this dual citizenship, he's letting us know that, first of all, he was circumcised the 8th day. That was what? The law. So he was born under the law. Go ahead.
Of the stock of Israel.
From the stock of Israel. Go ahead.
Of the tribe of Benjamin.
Not just that he's an Israelite, some type of weird spiritual convert, but he's like, I'm even going to give you my tribe. Tribe of Benjamin. Go ahead.
And Hebrew of the Hebrew.
Right, read.
And touching the law and Pharisee.
Right, as touching the law, a Pharisee, because that's what he was. He was a Pharisee, but he was dropping his pedigree to let us know. But he also, in certain instances, would use that Roman citizenship to get out of certain things because he had dual citizenship, right? And you had a lot of Jews, a lot of Israelites that lived in Rome, that lived in Tarshish, that lived in Corinth, all these different places around Greek and Pathros. We were scattered all through there. So when he's writing to like the Philippians, right? Philippi, right? They were scattered amongst other people. It wasn't just all Israelites. The people of Corinth, Galatia, and all these other places, it wasn't just all Israelites there. So now when we deal with Rome, he says, well, I'm writing to the Romans, but who? Paul, where you at? I want you to go to Romans 11 real quick.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, go to Romans 11 and what, 12? Romans 11 and 12? Where he said, I magnify my office. Go to Romans 11 and verse 13.
Romans chapter 11, verse 13.
Right?
For I speak to you Gentiles,
Right?
inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles.
Read.
I magnify my office.
So he said, I speak to you Gentiles, right? As much as I am an apostle of the Gentiles. So what was he saying? And who were the Gentiles? Right? So did you get it here?
Yeah.
Right, what was he talking about Gentiles and to the Greek and to the Jew, and why was he wording things in this manner? He could have just said to everybody, right? To just Rome, right? And made it a lot easier to understand, but he was speaking this way because you had Israelites that were considered Gentiles. Why? Because they spoke Greek. Excuse me. Smoke. Wow. Right, so what do you got?
So this is from the Zondervan Bible, Pictorial Bible Dictionary. The large one, the regular size.
Mm-hmm.
We have Hellenists,
Right.
non-Greeks who spoke Greek.
Right, so they were considered Hellenists, these Gentiles that Paul was sent out to go recover. Ones that he wrote to in Romans chapter 1, he was writing to those people. Greek speaking Jews. It wasn't that he was trying to convert Edomites. You see that? He was trying to reach his people. Watch. Read verse 14 in Romans chapter 11.
Verse 14. If by any means I may provoke to emulation,
Go ahead.
them which are my flesh.
Them which are my what?
Them which are my flesh.
Right. See, Paul, he said that by any means I'm trying to provoke to emulation them which are my flesh. Because you had Israelites that were scattered right? And what was his flesh? Well, he tell you what his flesh was. Benjamite, Israelite, tribe of Benjamin, Hebrew of Hebrews. Those are the people of his flesh. He said what?
And in verse 1, he says it here too.
Right, even in verse 1, right? He talks about the seed of Benjamin. We can read it, but he's trying to provoke the Israelites that are caught up in this Gentile state of mind. It's no different than when we go out there and teach, right? Or even right now, I always say we're broadcasting on YouTube, right? Now, we're trying to wake up the Gentiles. We're trying to wake up our people. Well, guess what? Anybody can tune in and watch. Esau, right, can tune in. A Hamite can tune in. They tune in. They watch. Arab, anybody, any nation, anyone that has access to this YouTube, they're privy to this information. Just like when Paul was writing his letters, he had to write in this open format because you had the people out there that didn't understand who they were. And the people, the Israelites, right? Some of them didn't understand. They lost their nationality. I mean, that was the curse, right? To be scattered, to lose our heritage. So you had some that didn't know. They weren't like Paul that understood who they were, nationality-wise. Some of them just adopted straight Greek thinking. You see that? Straight Roman thinking, and it was like, no, I'm a Roman. I'm a Grecian, right? But they didn't go back further into their genealogy and say, no, my foreparents and forefathers they were Israelites from this tribe. They just adopted that, just like our people today. Ask them, what's your nationality? Muslim, Christian, American, right? They won't know their nationality past what they were taught or past the land that they live in. You see that? So he was writing, trying to, like he said, by any means provoke anyone that was of his flesh. Anyone that read this, that it hit their spirit, right? That was an Israelite. That's who we want. That's who we want. Y'all get it? Right. Finish verse 14.
And might save some of them.
Right, because the thought was that he couldn't save everybody, but I can grab some. I'm going to wake up some. We know we can't save all our people, but why do we broadcast on the airwaves? We might wake up some. When we teach out there in the streets, we know, listen, ain't nobody listening. Nobody's listening to us street speak and nobody cares, right? But there are some that will stop and say, man, let me consider. You see that? So everything that Paul was doing he was geared towards going to the Israelites in a Gentile state of mind. He wasn't going to the actual nations, the nations as far as the people. He had to go into their land because we were scattered into those lands. But he was trying to wake up his people. You see that? You get that? Yeah, so go back to Romans 1 real quick. And read verse 14.
Romans 1, verse 14.
Right?
I am debtor both to the Greek and
Right.
to the barbarian.
We were the barbarians, the Israelites, right? Even when you look at history, they're like the white man was the barbarians. No, we were considered the barbarians. It wasn't a negative thing. You see that? That was us that it was talking about. Go ahead.
Both to the wise and to the unwise.
Go ahead.
Though as much as in me is, I am ready to preach the gospel to you that are at Rome also.
Right. Because why? You have unwise and wise Israelites that were either considered calling themselves barbarian or calling themselves Greek. They were scattered in Rome, so he had to. He said it. I'm in debt. I have to go preach the word here also. And if you look at, whenever you get a chance, you look at Paul's journeys, you'll see he was all through that they call it Asia Minor, right? And it was between Rome and Jerusalem and all the islands all the Greek islands and Italy and all those different places. You got Rome over here. You got Rome over here, right? And Italy, and you got Africa. Got the Mediterranean Sea. And then you come over here, you got Greece, and then you got Jerusalem. So he was all through this little area right here. They call it Asia Minor. That's where he set up his 7 churches. But there was a lot of Israel scattered amongst the heathen. We were scattered amongst Esau, right? It was heavy Esau at that time. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Kind
Did we read, we read 15, right? Right.
Yeah.
Then you have another question?
of. Verse 27.
Right. So everybody's clear that Paul was reaching out to the Israelites that were scattered, Israelites that were in a Gentile state of mind, right? But he had to send his letters to where they were, which was scattered into these Edomite and Hamite and Grecian type areas. Yeah, we all get that? Okay. So you had another question in Romans 1:26.
27.
126, 127. Okay. Read that real quick.
Romans chapter 1, verse 27.
Right?
And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the women, burned in their lust one towards another, man with man, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was met.
Which was meat. Right. So it's, and likewise also the men leaving. So truthfully, to understand this, you got to read up. Right? So let's read 21. Let's just start it from the top and just get the idea of what is Paul talking about here. Read 21.
Romans chapter 1, verse 21.
Right?
Because that they knew God, they glorified him not as God,
Go ahead.
neither were thankful, but became vain in their imagination, and their foolish heart was darkened.
Right. So what is he's showing how the people started to go off. They knew of the Most High, right? But they didn't glorify the Most High. What did they start to do? Well, he's going to tell what they started to do. They started to worship the creatures more than the Creator. Go ahead, read on.
Professing themselves to be wise,
Right?
they became fools,
Go ahead.
and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man.
Right, because isn't that the start? That's that idolatry, right? Where we, and he was in the spirit. Think about it. What is he talking about? Just in the spirit. That image, that Caesar Borgia, right? That image is what a lot of our people, the majority of our people have fallen to that image. That false image of Christ, that got our people locked into some foolery. Right? So he's showing, well, where did the people start to go off and how? Well, they start to worship these images, right? They started to paint these images and change the image of the Most High into corruptible man. Right? Where you at?
Verse 23.
Go ahead.
And to birds,
Right?
and four-footed beasts,
Right?
and creeping
And
things.
so now you got all these different gods that start to pop up. That's why you got the Egyptians, they worshiping animals with bird bodies and dog heads, right? Or the Sphinx, a man's head with a lion body, right? They got so many, it's so confusing. So, but they got a lot of different animals. Everything, when you look at most of the Egyptian gods, they all started from animals, and then it transforms into a man somehow. But it all started with some weird animal worship, taking the Most High out of it, and then worshiping the animals, worshiping the creatures, right? And they do it today. What was Solomon 14?
What's Psalm 13?
You go there. Go there. Wisdom of Solomon 13, right?
Yeah,
13
13
and 1? Yeah. Read. 13 and 1 through 4, yeah. Wisdom of Solomon 13 and 1.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 1. Surely vain are all men by nature, who are ignorant of God, and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is, neither by considering the works that they acknowledge the workmaster.
Yeah, so it's just saying we couldn't even just look and say, dang, there had to be a greater power that created this. Instead of looking at what's created and saying that is the power.
Yep.
Read on.
But deem either fire.
He said fire. It's like, oh, fire. It makes me warm. It gives light. It is a It's a God. It's fire. It's the fire God. Read.
Yeah, instead of being thankful for the Most High who made the fire, you more praising the fire because it's there.
Yeah, you rub two sticks together, and it came, ignited, and started a fire, and now the fire made itself. It's a God to be worshipped and to praise and to be praised.
Go ahead.
or wind,
Or wind. Read.
or the swift air,
Go ahead.
or the circle of the stars,
Read.
or the violent water,
Read.
or the lights of heaven,
Go ahead.
to be the gods which govern the world.
Yeah. So anything that looked sparkly or shiny or did something, we made it as a God, and that's what it's going into. Just like here in Romans, the saying like we looked at the stars. Oh, they're twinkling. They're gods. They give us. They make sure they watch over us at night, and they give us sound sleep. Oh, the tree gives us shade. It is the God of peace. It gives me comfort on a sunny day. Oh, the sun, like everything started to become a God, and
Or something to be worshipped.
or something to be worshipped.
And what Paul was reminding the people is that we took the Most High out of things and put the creatures, the things created, above the Most High. Then he's going to highlight, once you did that, all the wickedness that comes after that. There's a lot of folly that comes after that, right? Did you finish?
No.
Go ahead.
With whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods, let them know how much the Lord of them is, for the first author of beauty had created them.
So he's saying he's just going on and saying, anything that they took any delight in, they put up, they made an idol out of it. They made it a god. They put it above the Most High instead of recognizing that the Most High created this. Let's go.
Was that it on that?
Verse 4.
Read verse 4.
Verse 4. But if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them.
And that's the point. It's like, well, if you're so astonished, and you're giving so much praise to these items, whether it be the stars, whether it be the plant life, or the fire, the wind, whatever we were setting up as a god or a power. If you're so if you're so glorified by these, what about where did that come from? What about what made that?
Right?
It's like we weren't considering that, it was the Most High that put all these things in play for our benefit, for our use. It's like it says, how much mightier he is that made them. And that's it on that one.
Right, jump back to Romans.
Romans chapter
So
1,
you're with us so far, right?
Huh?
Okay. Go to Romans. Read 1 and verse 25.
Romans chapter 1, verse 25. Who changed the truth of God into a lie,
Right?
and worship and serve the creature more than the creator.
Right? So who changed? So he's showing that the one, because this is not a question. We read it sometimes like a question because it starts with who, but it's not a question. It's a statement. He's letting us know the ones that did these things in 21, 22, 23, and 24, they changed the word of God into a lie. Go ahead.
And worship and serve the creature more than the creator.
And they served the things that were created. We just read in Wisdom of Solomon, more than the Most High. Go ahead.
Who is blessed forever.
Read.
Amen.
Go ahead.
For this, because God gave them up into vile affections.
Right, so for this cause, the Most High said he gave them over to vile affections. So now that you start worshiping these animals, worshiping the beasts, now that you start to worship man, right? You got Kermit, right? The black woman she's God, right? She's God. And so I have to worship this God. So how do I worship this woman? Well, I'll do anything for this woman, right? And you start to take the woman outside of the order that she was created for. That's what it's going to go into. When you start worshiping the animals, you know, even when you look at the Romans, really when you go into Roman history and Greek history, what were they doing? They start worshiping their animals, then they start sleeping with their animals, right? There's a movie called Caligula, and that goes into the Romans and the filth, right, that they were on, sleeping with the animals, a lot of homosexuality, women on women, men on men. That's what the Roman lifestyle was about. Cats running around in togas for easy access, right? Where you think you get the toga party, right? The easy access party. When you watch, I'm gonna let you say it, but when you watch shows like, there was one show that I was watching, I think it was called Legion. I think it was Legion, or it was one of these shows, and it was going into like the Romans, and then you had this Roman king. He had a pig that was his pet, right? But he would strap himself up to the pig.
Oh.
Yeah, he would strap in to this pot-bellied pig and go to work. But what happened is they walked in on him and they caught him in a compromising position. And so they basically blackmailed him, like, listen, if this is what you're doing, then we gonna, you know what I'm saying? He didn't want that to get out. But that's what they were on, and that became the norm. Animals, you know, laying with animals, taking the women out their natural use, men, it tells you, watch. Read 24.
Verse
One more
20.
time.
24?
Yeah.
All right. Romans chapter 1, verse 24. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanliness through the lust of their own heart.
Go ahead.
To dishonor their own body between themselves.
Yeah, right. They start to dishonor their bodies between themselves. Right? Men on men, women on women. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 25. Who changed the truth of God into a lie.
Go ahead.
And worship and serve the creature more than the Creator.
Go ahead.
Who is blessed forever.
Go
Amen.
ahead. Go ahead.
For this, because God gave them up into vile affection, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
Right. So the natural use of a woman was to be with a man, to lay with that man, to be with that man, to reproduce for that man. Right? But think about it, just look at it. What's going on in good old America? They got women out here trying to grow beards.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna go in on. Because like that, putting them up as gods or worshiping them. When you look at the homosexual community, the men, the woman is God. Well, they lust and have the woman in such idolatry that they do everything possible to be as womanly as they can. They make themselves more womanly than women. Whether the cheekbones, the breasts, the hips, the butt. Like they want to make themselves more woman than women.
It's like women, like you see some of these damn flaming faggots, you like women don't even act like that.
Right.
You're way past effeminate. Now you're an offense.
And then the women do the same thing. It's the ones that want to transition to men.
Yeah. They more harder than me.
Right.
Right? They got more beard and abs, and they more, you know what I'm saying? We're rocking more Timbs and better haircuts, and
One ran up on me, one to box.
oh, damn. Yeah, I don't know about that. You're still a woman.
Right. Like trying to charge me up because I said something to her girl.
Damn.
Yeah. But they see the way men move and they're like, I'm gonna be more manly than the man. But they're still women. Just like men, they want to be more womanly than the women, but you're still a man. You're still an ock.
Yeah, that's an odd dog. Right? Yeah, you still a woman, and that's the thing. But what are they trying to do? They try to go into the hormone replacement therapy. They're like really digging deep to make these transitions real, right? They have all these debates online, like you got cats really out here talking about if you date a transgender woman, it's like, what do they say? Transgender women are women. I'm like, nah, that's a dude. That's a man. If his mama call him a man, I'm gonna call him a man, right? Right. Mama call him Clay, I'm gonna call him Clay, right? You can't change, but that's why it says, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie? Because that's what, like you got Young Jeezy and Jenny Ma, they came out talking about gender fluidity. Like, what the hell is that? Gender fluid? So, Young Jeezy, Trap or Die, Thug 101, gangster killer for drugs and the world, is gonna have a baby with no gender. My nigga. Yeah. They're having a baby, they named it, but they're like, we're gonna let it, or they, pick its own gender.
Wow.
I'm like, this ain't Young Jeezy, this ain't the Young Jeezy I know. But look
I know
at
that.
yeah, the article just came out yesterday or day before. They're having a baby, but the baby is gender fluid or gender neutral. It's gonna be able to pick what it wants to be. Because the Most High, but it says it. Because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as the Most High. He's worshiping her ass. Jeezy is worshiping this Chinese woman that got him all flipped upside down. And whatever she says, I don't want the baby to have a gender. He don't want to lose his relationship, right? He wants to be with that. So what is he going to do? He's going to worship that woman and follow whatever it is that she wants. And we know where they're getting it from. It's all an agenda to push it on our children. If we can get the Chinese and black man to be down, then we can, associate other people into the movement. That's how they think. That's how they think. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 27.
Right?
And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman.
So the men leave the natural uses of the women. Right? The natural use of the woman, we know what that's going into. That's that intercourse. That's that compassion or that companionship, right? The men leave that and they do what? Read.
Burn in their love one towards another.
They burn in their lust one towards another. So now you got Sodom and Gomorrah all over it. Go ahead.
Men with men working that which is unseemly.
Yeah, unseemly, right? Or uncharacteristic or something that's not going to work. It's not going to work because it's not natural for a man to work with another man in that way.
That's true.
It's not natural. You don't bring life, right? The Most High, one of the first things the Most High told Adam and Eve was what? Be fruitful and multiply, populate the earth, and subdue the earth. So how can you be fruitful and multiply if you got man on man, women on women? It's unseemly. It's unproductive. It's vain. Go ahead.
And receiving in themselves that recompense.
And they receive the recompense. Right? Well, what is the recompense? Well, look at what happened with Sodom and Gomorrah. Those cities. Most High destroyed them. Look at the LGBTQ LMNOP community. Right? They got a lot of disease running rampant through that community. Right? HIV was rampant, and it still is, just because they can take a pill or get a quick shot. They can get a shot every day now and be good. I think they get there's a thing where they can get one shot per month, and it calms the AIDS down.
Damn.
Yeah, they working. Come on, they trying to get these cats back to health.
God.
Hell yeah. They trying to make it to where you can love who you want to love, catch whatever disease you want to catch, and still live a fruitful life. That's what they're on.
Oh yeah, there was at the old school across the street.
Okay.
The dude worked there.
Okay.
He had the HIV,
Right.
and he wasn't ashamed to talk about it. He was like, yeah, I got it, but I take these pills. It's so low he can't even detect it in me.
Yeah, I'm that's a part two. Yeah, it's so low that look, you can get his blood for a blood transfusion. That's what they want. That's what they want to happen, right? But they think because they can throw some medicine in you, it takes away the first initial sins. You see that? Like, it's not about homosexuality anymore. It's not about doing what's unseemly in the eyes of the Most High. It's about, well, we'll just cure the disease that the Most High threw out there to show us that this was wrong. See, they don't look at it like, wait a minute. we're receiving the recompense of our actions with the diseases, right? They're not looking at that. With the club shootings and with all the different things that happen in that community, they're not understanding that this is the recompense. They're looking at it like, oh, this comes with the territory. We're going to develop some drugs to combat the disease, and then we're going to live our lives. But what's the Most High going to do? It's like chess, man. Most High, you make a move, the Most High makes a move. If you make a move, you come up with your little cure, the Most High comes up with something else. And if you got a remedy for that, so you think, and the Most High come up with something else. Right? And he'll continue to break down and destroy until the recognition is there. Till that recognition is put forth. Go ahead.
On their error, which was me.
Right? Go ahead, read on.
And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind.
Right, and see, this is what happens. It says they did not want to retain the Most High in their knowledge, and look at it. Look at how, remember, even in America, where there was a time where you could, they set up prayers in the school. Y'all remember that? Yeah, they would pray in the school. They would do their little pledge of allegiance.
Kindergarten, first grade.
Yeah, you set up the Our Father prayer, I think it was, and then they would it was two. They did a pledge of allegiance. They would pray, and then there was something else they did in school. I don't remember, but they separate now church and state. Let's take the Most High out of it, right? And we're gonna take the Most High out of our court system. We're gonna take the Most High out of what is it? What is it designed to do? It's designed to make people think that there is no God, right? But you can operate in these ways, and it's not bad, it's not wrong, because God is love and love is love. But we're gonna take, how do they take the Most High out of it? How do they take the Most High out of it? It's in my mind. I don't want to say it. I want y'all to say it. How do they take him out of it?
One of the ways is that they're always saying that God is his love. He's not hate.
Right. So how do they take him out? Like what is that?
It just shows that he's not gonna punish you for your sins.
Right. Well, it goes right back to them changing the truth. The truth of the matter is the Most High kills, the Most High loves, the Most High hates, the Most High. He said, I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. If there's evil in the city, I've done it. But what their lie is, or their changing of the truth is, no, God wouldn't do that.
Yep.
Right? I heard somebody say, like, if Jesus was here today, he would be a homosexual.
That is right, I heard that.
Like, what the hell are y'all talking about? If Jesus came today, bro, he burned this place. Don't y'all get it? He burned America. Wow. He burned that whole ideology out. Christ ain't coming out talking about, let me get the rainbow and walk down whatever street in the gay day parade. Y'all are tripping. But that's the narrative that they try to push, that, Jesus, he's all colors. See, he's the colors of the rainbow. And Jesus loves us all. Right? And if he's in that mind state, Jesus accepts you, brother. Come on. He said, but change.
I was going to say also too, they want to disannul the scriptures. They want to disannul the commandments, the laws, the statutes.
Yeah.
Like so many people create their own Bibles and follow in their Bibles, and they want to take the truth out.
Yeah, they want to.
Jehovah's Witnesses change their Bible.
They take out scriptures.
Take out scriptures.
Yeah. And some potent ones too. Yep.
Just
to keep pushing that narrative.
Yeah, to make it not as like it's really convicting if you really believe the Bible.
What it is we're gonna take out the hell and brimstone part, and we're just gonna deal with the yes, Jesus loves me, fluff, God loves everybody part. God is hell and brimstone. That's what they don't get. He is hellfire. Christ, he is hellfire and brimstone, but he is also grace, mercy, peace, love. He's all those things. But the point is, we want to do what we want to do. We want to do what makes us comfortable, and we don't want you to judge us. Only God can judge me, and he's going to judge me he's not going to judge me off the things that I do. That's another lie, right? He's not going to judge me off what I do. He's going to judge my heart.
Right. Yeah.
Jesus knows my heart. Right?
Just yesterday in the mall, I was talking to someone about that,
Right?
and he was like, "Yeah, you know, but ain't what's going on pork."
Uh-huh.
And he was like, "Yeah, but you know, it's not what goes in. You know, it's your heart.
Destroying the whole scripture.
It's your heart."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I go, yeah. A lot of people say, you know, God knows my heart. And guess what the Bible says about your heart? It says it's desperately wicked. And I was like, you know what desperate means? Like you lust after doing something so bad. You're desperate to get it. You're desperate to do that.
Yeah.
It's just the heart is desperately wicked. So, yeah, God knows your heart. So, if
Yeah.
you come as you are,
Deceitful above all things.
and you want to stay as you are, you're gonna die as you were in the world still.
Mm-hmm. And that's the lie. That's the whole Shazam, smoke and mirrors. Is that we're going to say that the Most High is this way and that way. We're going to turn him into a kitten. We're going to turn him into a woman.
Right.
We're going to turn him into a Disney character. We're going to turn him into just a fat white guy with a Christmas suit. We're going to turn God into all these different things because we don't want our feelings hurt.
That's it.
Right? And you can't judge us according to what we're doing because God is not judging us. Well, he is. They're just trying to take the judgment and put medicine on it. They're trying to take the judgment and put laws. Oh, now it's gay hate or gay bashing or what do they call it? What is it? Not anti-Semitic, because that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Hate crimes? They basically call them hate crimes. Right? Like as soon as you speak up against that lifestyle, you hate. It's a hate crime. Right? Don't push your straight lifestyle, don't push your Bible on us, but we can push our life on you because if you don't say them or what's the words?
Homophobic.
Them or they, you're homophobic,
There you go.
you're transphobic, right? It's like, how come I gotta be transphobic because I don't want to say them or they?
Yep.
Because I don't want to acknowledge your belief.
Yep.
But that's the whole, you gotta see, that's the whole thing where they try to pin you into their belief. They push it all on the music, they push it all on the radio, they push it all on social media. It's everywhere.
TV commercial.
Every commercial. Now, you watching eHarmony, right? eHarmony got two dudes smiling at each other. You're like, what the hell's going on here?
Every commercial. It doesn't
Right?
matter.
Every
The
little dating
billboards now.
commercial. You said what?
They got the billboards now.
They got the billboard. Now I've seen them,
Yeah.
and it's always an Israelite,
Yep.
always an Israelite that they use for this, man. Every commercial that got some homosexual type of innuendo, it's our people. So what was Paul doing? He was warning our people that look, don't be like these people. Don't be like these people because this is what they're doing. I'm trying to pull y'all out of this. You see that? So read on. Let's just finish it and then.
To do those things which are not convenient,
Go ahead. To do those things that are not convenient, read.
being filled with all unrighteousness,
Go ahead.
fornication,
Read.
wickedness,
Come on.
covetousness,
Right.
maliciousness,
Right.
full of envy,
Go ahead.
murder,
Read.
debate,
Read.
deceit,
Right.
malignity,
Right.
whispers,
Come on, read.
backbiters,
Mhm.
haters of God,
See, he's given all these characteristics of these type of people. When you look at, listen, if you ever sat down with a homosexual and just talked to him,
All of this
they
comes out.
display all this. You like, damn, nigga, you got demons. Just talk to him. Don't be scared. You gotta just. I be having some good conversations with them. I just dive right in. So what made you choose that lifestyle? I be at the mall, bro. I don't play. I be at the mall, man, and you can tell the ones that you can have a certain conversation with,
Yeah.
especially if they'll stand there and deal with you, knowing that you're straight. You can have certain combos. They'll be more candid. And I ask them like, so what happened with you? What made you choose that lifestyle? And they'll straight up tell you. Right? They'll tell you, but then you can see all the hate and all the negative that is associated in their life. All these different characteristics. Go ahead. And the main one is that they hate the Most High. Something happened where they blame God.
That's true.
I don't believe in God.
Yeah.
Why not? Well, I grew up in the church and then you start breaking it down. It's like they hate the Most High. Go ahead.
despiteful,
Despiteful.
spiteful,
Uh-huh.
proud,
Read.
boasters,
Proud.
Big one.
Proud. Go ahead.
boasters,
Right.
inventors of evil
See,
things.
and then they have to invent more evil on top of that evil. Because listen, once you go down that route, it's like a person that, it's like, think about it, it's like anybody that does something way over the limit, right? It's like a person that smokes cigarettes. They smoke cigarettes and they started out with 1 cigarette a day. Then they went to 2 because it didn't hit as hard. Then 3, then 4. Next thing you know, they're chain smoking, and they hitting like a pack a day, right? But then what happens? To get that same high they first felt, now I gotta move on to the next drug. So I gotta mix my cigarette with some weed, right? Now I'm high, but then the weed, after a while, that ain't doing it, so now I gotta dip it in embalming fluid, or I gotta lace it with this, or lace it with that. And I gotta up the ante. It's the same thing with these things. Now I gotta reinvent ways to get pleasure. I went in every place that I shouldn't have went, right? But now I gotta reinvent a way. So I did everything I could do with women. That got boring. I did everything I could do with men. That got boring. I tried out dogs. I tried out cats. Oh, let me go marry a dolphin. Right? Let me go marry a dolphin. Let me go get a marriage license with a dolphin. Let me go try out this snake. Let me go try out this mini horse.
I remember that video with the snake.
Yeah. Let me go try this out and try. They invent more and more evil to suffice that flesh. Y'all gotta see, like, I don't think y'all really get it that back in the 70s and in the 80s, when homosexuality was being introduced into America, how far it would have got. Like, did anybody think it would have got to this point when they're trying to legalize pedophilia? Who would have thought that 2 old gross-ass white men kissing in the train would lead to a gross white man trying to sleep with a 7-year-old and make it legal? Or a gross old fat 50-year-old white man talking about he associates as a 10-year-old girl? Who would have thought that? A gross 50-year-old white man that loves another gross 50-year-old white man would change into, through time, that same gross 50-year-old white man cutting off his penis and using the girl's bathroom. Or walking through the damn mall in a tutu. Right? Your guy, right? We got a guy. This dude, listen, man, he walks through the mall with a tutu on.
A literal tutu.
A literal tutu, like a ballerina with the damn leotard. Wow. And sometimes if you catch him on a good day, he'll have on some stockings. And some days he'll be bare-legged and the damn tutu be up his ass. Excuse my language.
The tutu is short, like
it's cut
every
like a
movement you can see.
Listen,
the whole
everything.
kit and caboodle.
Yeah. And then he's walking around lipstick just
outside of the lips.
Outside the lips, wig on. And then you talk to him and you just hear this deep, hey, how you doing? I'm doing good. Like, whoa.
And he's faded.
And he just be faded. He'd be faded off of liquor.
Alcohol breath. Straight alcohol.
Yeah, you like, man, what the hell is this guy walking through the mall doing? What's he looking for in the mall? Because he ain't shopping. He ain't shopping.
No bags.
Well, he ain't shopping for no goods, but he's shopping for a little boy or a girl. He's shopping for something.
Wow.
But who would have thought gay men in the village and in San Francisco would change into a damn man walking through the mall in a tutu, shopping for your little boys and girls? But that's what Paul was warning. That was the warning that Paul was giving, that look, this reprobate mind is going to go so far that they're going to invent all these evils. Now you got, I tell you, I'll be on the news. I've been on the news and I'm catching these stories in these different cities. And you got these grown-ass men. They on dating apps. Doing what? How old are you? 13? Cool. That's what I want. 7? Cool. That's what I want. They on these messaging services and on these different, there's one called, is it Grindr? I don't know what it's called. I think that's for homosexuals. But there's something that they be catching these little young girls on. It might be Twitch. But listen, they had on YouTube, they had like porn on Roblox. Yeah, they had like the Roblox characters reenacting right on YouTube, man. Right on YouTube for your kids to watch. But who would have thought That's the 70s and the 80s would have ushered in this level of filth. But see, Paul was warning it. Inventors, what does it say? Inventors of evil things. Go ahead.
Disobedient to parents.
Read.
Without understanding.
Without understanding. Go ahead.
Covenant breakers.
Read.
Without natural affection.
Go ahead.
Implacable.
Because let's be real, man. That lifestyle ain't got no natural affection. It's not natural.
True.
It said it's not natural. Ain't that what it said?
Yes,
He gave them up to vile affections.
Con.
So my vile affection, that vile affection, think about it. They're pushing to lower the age of consent.
Strong delusion. Con.
So they can have 7-year-old and 8-year-old boys. Not even girls. They want boys.
Damn.
Boys.
It's like verse 28 said at the end of it.
Go
To do those things
Okay.
which are not convenient. That's
Yeah.
not convenient.
That's not, in any stretch of the imagination, it shouldn't be convenient. For your 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 10-year-old boy
Con.
to be some grown man's confectionery.
True.
But see, these are the things that America been on. When you look at a lot of these great so-called leaders of America, that's what they was doing. They was having sex with little boys, man.
Yep.
They weren't even dealing with the girls. They was on the little boys. Pushing that. Go ahead, read on.
Unmerciful.
Right,
Who knowing the judgment of God.
right.
They which commit such things are worthy of death.
They're what?
Worthy of death.
It said, the Bible said they're worthy of death. They should be put to death. Just like it says in the Old Testament. But we know we don't go around and doing that. Why? Because Yahushua came to give that mercy.
Con.
They got that opportunity to change from that lifestyle. Go ahead.
Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
See that? And not just the people that are doing it, but the ones that take pleasure in others doing these things, the Bible says should be put to death. Like, oh, let them be. They're just living life. Hell no. Put them to death too. Put them because you believe in that. You believe in that lifestyle. You believe in that idea, right? And we all know that it all starts with an idea, right?
Con.
So,
Even them having pleasure in it. You think about all the homosexuals, they always want to make someone straight turn gay. Like that's like their goal, their aim. They enjoy turning someone straight gay.
I'm gonna turn you out. That's where that came from.
Yeah.
Turning somebody out. That's where that came from. Listen, I remember in my little days when I was young and handsome, right, and working in the mall, bro. I had cats. I used to work in Delaware, and if you know anything about Delaware and Philadelphia, that's where that whole down low homo thug thing started. Where you got these gangster ass dudes, right? They'll kill you for a bag of weed. Right, but they'll do a lot more to you, right? But I used to work in the mall, man, and they would approach. I'm talking about niggas with long nails, painted neon green, right, with crop tops on, like trying to holler at me. I'm like, nah, bruh, I don't do that. I'm good. You move that down the lane. Go that way, right? And I'm telling you, Delaware was bad. Delaware was real bad. Del State. You talking about? And this was 2003, 2004, where being a homosexual was like you're like, damn, this thing is a fad. You had all these women, the Bull Dykes, right? The whole Bull Dyke movement, butch, looking like a dude, cutting their hair off, getting fades, running around with Tim boots on and baggy pants. Talking about they keep the strap.
Yeah.
And they would walk around, you would be able to see it in their jeans.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what that was on. And they would run up on you. The dudes run up on you real bold. You dress a certain type of way, you look at certain, they'd run up on you, man. Like, oh, look, I'm trying to. And I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. What you talking about? But they were real bold with it, trying to. That was their whole thing, to turn you out.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, y'all get that, right? I know we kind of went into it, but you gotta go into it. You gotta go in. Right. I wanted to get into this class real quick, unless anybody else got something quick. Y'all gonna ask y'all questions in kids class. All right? Okay. Yeah, we're gonna start letting the kids ask questions in kids class. Yeah, let's go into this class. If y'all are in the chat, please try to just stay with us. We don't mind that y'all are in the chat and commenting, but if y'all gonna throw out a bunch of scriptures and do all that, and remember, we got other people that are watching and they're in the chat. We don't want to distract. All right, so we just please ask that if you're gonna be in the chat, just limit the interactions in the chat, limit the bunch of scriptures, because we want people to actually listen and pay attention to what's being said. Please, all right. So we just asking respectfully to be respectful in the chat. All right. I want to touch on this topic real quick. I want y'all to go for me to, and I think y'all see the title up there. It's called The Gateway. What is it called? What's the title? The Gateway to Sin. Right? The gateway. You titled this one The Gateway to Sin. And you know, there's always that talk. I think we just talked about it. How you ever hear of a gateway drug? Right? What's a gateway drug? What is the gateway drug for a lot of people? What is it?
Weed.
Right? But before they start smoking weed, what they start smoking a lot of the times? Cigarettes, right? Hitting cigarette, because let's not be naive. Cigarettes are drugs. And nicotine is a drug and it addicts you. But then that starts to wear off, and then the ganja is a huge gateway drug, right? And then what does that lead to? Why do you call it a gateway drug? Anybody? Either the quote unquote good drug or the soft drug, and it gateways you, it ushers you into you're past the experimental phase. Yep. Right? Because I just experimented. Like for instance, perfect example, DMX. When he always talked about, he was a kid. He was 14, 12, 13, 14, hooked on crack. It was his drug of choice. Yeah. But he would hit weed, but then he would do crack. Right? A little alcohol, but he would do some crack. Right? He always went back to the crack because it had that stronger pull. So, you know, I use that analogy because there's certain gateways and portals. I use the word portals, right? But there's a gateway, there's a portal that look at all the things that we end up giving ourselves to in sin. It's one portal that we hop into. It's one opening that we all fall into, right? So somebody give me Wisdom of Solomon real quick. 1 and verse S. Right, weed. Everybody said weed is the gateway. You know, and I'm gonna say this: the gateway for some people is different. It's not always weed. They say that weed is a gateway drug because it does. You know what's wild about that too? If you listen to most drug dealers, what do they say? Man, you know, I started out slanging them dime bags, but weed don't cost a lot of money. So you ain't gonna get paid a lot of money for weed. So I had to up it to crack. They were like, yeah, I started out slanging weed, then I had to get to that crack. Why? Because crack is where the dough's at. The key, now you moving keys. Yep. So sometimes alcohol is the gateway for some people. About today, there's definitely a gateway that leads us to sin. So go to Wisdom of Solomon, read that for me.
What verse?
I want you to read chapter 1 and verse 3.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 3.
Right?
For forward thoughts separate from the Most High.
Right. So when you're walking into this gateway separates you from the Most High. You're now separated from the path that you were walking with the Most High. Now you're walking a different path. So I want y'all to get that in your mind. That this gateway to sin is an automatic separation from the Most High. So what does that mean? Because, I'm separated from God. Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? You're separated from the Most High.
You're going to do whatever you want.
Okay, generic. True, but generic. But what? Like, give me something. What does it mean? What am I really separating from? What? Okay, generic but true. Go deeper. And deeper and deeper. What else?
You separate from his wisdom.
Okay, wisdom. What else? Anybody? What sis?
Peace.
You separate from peace. What else? See, y'all are, remember when we look at the Most High and we say, okay, righteousness, right? But what are the characteristics of something that's righteous, right? What are the characteristics of the Most High? Is he just one thing or the other? No, we're think about it. You separate. She said it, peace. He said righteousness. You said wisdom, right? But then those things can be broken down into all these different other categories. Wisdom, I'm separating from foresight. I'm separating from being able to see things before they happen. I'm separating from being able to just see things, having vision. What?
You're separated from his rest.
Rest.
Knowing that he has you on every corner.
Faith.
Right.
So I'm leaving faith, right? I'm no longer in a state of being faithful. I'm no longer in a state of being long-suffering or patient. That's what I'm leaving. I'm leaving patience, long-suffering, joy, peace, love, charity, communication. Because now I gotta walk. I'm walking. It says it. Forward thoughts separate from the Most High. Go ahead.
And his power.
What is his power? Well, it says the world is in his hand, and he controls everything. Right? So what is his power? His power is the angels. Right? His power is the ability to change your circumstance just like that. His power is the ability to give you the out. Remember, with all temptation, he give you the way out. So you deny all that power. Go ahead.
When it is tried,
right?
Reprove it, the unwise.
Go ahead.
For into a malicious soul.
Right, so into a malicious spirit or a malicious soul, go ahead.
Wisdom shall not enter.
Go ahead.
Nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin.
Right, because when you start to get into this, when you start to walk towards this door or go down this path, you walk through this gateway, you start to separate yourself from the good things of the Most High. You start to remove yourself, like we say, okay, wisdom, right? Wisdom. But what is wisdom? What is it?
The correct application of knowledge.
Correct application of knowledge, right? Correctly applying the things that you know are good. You separate from that. And you'll no longer be able to, when you start being led down this gateway to sin, you'll no longer be able to know or objectively use wisdom. What do I mean by that? Well, the wisdom is there, but I don't want to take that path because I already lost hope, I lost faith, I lost peace, I lost my mind. Y'all see this? What's that?
It's almost like that example you use when a person starts smoking and then they do a pack a day and then next thing you know they're dipping it in whatever and
vomit,
and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Once you cross over and you go to the left, it's hard to get back to the center and then to the right because you're so far
off.
left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so far off, and then the Most High is nowhere around you anymore. Like,
Yep.
your mind, you're the reprobate, and he's giving you over, and he's turned his face from you. So it's like everything that about him, which is righteous and pure and just, and is gone.
It's just like what we read in Romans 1 where it said they didn't acknowledge the Most High as the Most High. And they were given over to that reprobate mind. You know, and what I want to show y'all is there's something that leads to this point. See, we're not even at the thing yet. We're just talking about once you get to a certain point, this is what you're separated from. You see that? You're separated because there was something that led you into this mind. Like nobody is just hateful. Nobody is just rebellious. Nobody is just a sinful person. There's something that leads to these things. Right? Go ahead and read on.
For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit.
Go ahead.
And remove from thoughts that are without understanding.
Go ahead.
And will not abide when unrighteousness cometh in.
Right. So, what is that unrighteousness that comes in to us that leads us into this gateway of sin? Who thinks they know? What is that? What is that unrighteousness? What?
Lust.
Close. Go to Ecclesiastes 10 real quick. What?
Curiosity.
Close. Those things are a byproduct of what we're going to talk about. It's simple. It's our pride. Pride is the key that unlocks the door to all sins. Pride will lead you into lust. It'll lead you into curiosity. It leads you into all these different doors that if your pride is not checked, and we're gonna go through it. If pride ain't checked, man, it's gonna tell us. Watch, read Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 12.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 12. The beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High.
So we just read it in the Wisdom of Solomon, right? We just read it in the Wisdom of Solomon. Forward thoughts separate from God. So forward thoughts is just another way to say that a person is prideful. Forward is what? I'm going against. I am at odds. Right? So pride is when what? Read on.
And his heart is turned away from his maker.
See that? My mind is turned away from the maker. Read on.
For pride is the beginning of sin.
I mean, it's right there. Pride is the beginning of sin. Because, again, if that pride goes unchecked in us, then first of all, think about it. Where does pride start? Where does it, we just said it. The Bible just said it. Where does it start?
In your thoughts.
In your thought process. Right? Because what is pride? What is it? A what?
An unruly high opinion of
Yeah,
oneself.
a high opinion, right, of oneself. Putting your thought process above what is right and true. Y'all see this? So, pride is the beginning of sin. Read verse 13 again.
Verse 13 from the top.
Mm-hmm.
For pride is the beginning of sin.
Right?
And he that had it shall pour out
You
abomination.
shall do what?
Pour out abomination.
He that have pride, you're going to be pouring out all sorts of different abominations. Even when you go back to that Romans that we read, what was one of the attributes that it named with these people that changed the truth of the Most High? It said they were prideful, right? Now, those things weren't in any specific, those negative characteristics weren't in any specific order. But if I had to order it, and just according to the scriptures, I would say, okay, pride is what led you there. That high opinion of yourself, or of your thoughts, or of how you think or thought things should be, is what led you through this door, or through that door, or through that door. Right? Because if I don't like the way things are and I think I have a better way, I'm not going to follow the path. Most people are going to do what?
Do their own path.
You're going to create your own path. You're going to be a trailblazer. Right? You're going to be a trailblazer and you're going to create your own path. But what is the scripture saying? Those people that want to create their own path, first of all, you're separated from the path of the Most High. And that's never the thought. What path did the Most High lay me down on? Why did he put me on this path? Why did he give me these instructions? If he wanted you to have a different path, lo and behold, he would have set you on that path. Anybody ever asked, well, why did my path change? I was in the world for so many years, and then all of a sudden, the Most High changed my course. He did a Paul, right? Paul was on the path, right? And then Yahweh Shai, the Most High, they changed Paul and his path. Y'all ever question that we're all like Paul? Right? You were maybe not doing the things that Paul was doing, right? You weren't walking around persecuting the church and gathering up Jews that were talking about Yahushua, right? But were y'all? You're like, nah, nigga, we was. Right? No, you weren't on that level, but you were on a level of something. You were on a course that had to be changed. Right? You ever sit back and ask yourself and say, man, damn, I was on this path. Why did the Most High change my course? Why did he redirect me? Right? Some of us are older age. We in our 30s, 40s, right? And some of us are just, you live most of your life in that world mentality, and you're now just getting the truth. You ever sit back and ask, like, damn, why did the Most High change my course? But then, you ever sit back and ask, why am I trying to change my course back? Mm-hmm. That's the pride in you. That's the pride in you thinking that your opinion of how things should go is how it should go. And putting your way of thinking in the way of moving and what you want to chase above what the Most High is laying out for you. See, the difference is there's a path being laid out, right? He always prays it. Flat the path. What is it? Make the way straight, flat the path. Yep. Right? And it's being paved out and being roller pressed, right? Those big machines that steam out the cement. Most High is doing that for you, and the path it's like, damn, he's making that path. And you're looking over there like, but man, I see gold streets. Right? I see gold streets and butt naked women and a lot of money and all the things that I want to do. I want that path over there. Whatever it may be, and we go towards that path, and what is it showing? That we're separating from what the Most High wants from us. Y'all see that? Where we at?
Second precept.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 13.
Right.
And therefore, the Lord brought upon them strange calamities.
Right.
And overthrew them utterly.
Go to verse 7.
Verse 7.
Right.
Pride is hateful before the Most High and man.
See, and this is what we have to understand. I know I kind of went out of order, but we have to understand that the pride that we display, Most High said he hates it. He hates it because it shows a disdain for him, that he doesn't know what's good for you. Y'all realize that, right? It's like if your children, you sitting there, you breaking your back to provide, you put the food on the table and they just smack, bah! Right? They just smack the whole plate off the table and look at you dead in your eyes like, I ain't eating that. And then they pull out their whole food. It's like, wait, what? First of all, where'd you get that from? Third of all, why are you smacking plates? Fourth of all, I'm gonna kill you. Right? Right? I'm about to have a whole set of new kids because y'all about to die, right? But then, how would you feel though? You would be like, you prideful little bastard, right? You think you know better, right? You think that you have a grasp on what this life is about. It's like my kids, man. I be trying to school them on life, and I'm like, y'all really think y'all know something? Y'all really think that y'all know, and y'all are the most spoiled little brats. You get driven everywhere. You get everything paid for. You ain't struggling. You ain't broke. You ain't poor. You ain't like, you got food at the ready. To the point where now they just deliver groceries to your house. Yep. All you gotta do is walk to the door. You don't even want to put them away. They deliver them to the house. The least you can do is say thank you and put them away. But they think they have this grasp on life, and it's like, no, watch. Once you start walking that path, you're gonna see you don't got it. You don't know what this life is about. But it's no different than with us. The Most High is trying to show us we don't know what life is about. We don't understand what he's trying to do for us and give us because we're steady looking at different pathways. We're steady opening that door with that pride key. I call it the pride key. The key of pride. Let me go here. Let me go here. It's a universal key. It'll get you anywhere. That's the thing with pride. Pride will take, it tells you, we just read it. It says, you shall pour out all abominations. Your pride can take you down anywhere you want to be. Look at the people in the world. Look at people in the world. Pride got them shot. Pride got them high. Pride got them rich. Pride got them broke. Pride got them single. Pride got them married. Pride got them this. Pride got them that. Just look. It wasn't humility. It wasn't belief and faith. Trust me. It wasn't those things. If you hold the flame to their feet to the fire, they're going to buckle. They're going to lose faith. And it's always going to be pride that comes up. Go ahead, read.
And by both doth one commit iniquity.
I mean, come on. You start to offend the Most High and man through your pride. Jump to verse 18.
Verse 18. Pride was not made for man.
See, pride wasn't even made for man. But man being haughty in his thinking and putting his thoughts above the thought process of the Most High, that's where pride comes from. But it wasn't made for man. We weren't made to be these creatures that thought excessively or overly excessive about ourselves and about what we should be doing and about how we want to do it. We weren't made to do that. We were made to do, like he said, he created us in his image, right? He created us to follow him and do what he commanded. Be fruitful, multiply, follow the commandments, love your neighbor as yourself, love the Most High with all your heart. But what happens when pride gets interjected into those ideas? Well, why gotta love him for? Hey, that nigga don't love me. That's pride. Love the Most High with all my heart. Well, but I want to love other things. Why I gotta do that? When you start to do the why do I gotta do it like that? Why do I gotta make it say it like that or do it like this? What happens? That's you separating yourself from what the scriptures say you should do. Y'all get that? Go ahead, read on.
No furious anger for them that are born of a woman.
Right. So pride is the gateway, man. Pride is the gateway which opens us up. And we're going to read a few examples. It's not a long class. We're going to read a few examples. I want you to go to Genesis. Because like I said, through your pride, you're going to pour out all types of abominations. Go to Genesis. Let's read Genesis 4:4.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 4. And Abel, he also brought of the firstling of his flock.
Right? So what are we going to be reading about? We're going to be reading about Cain and Abel. Right? And we know Cain killed his brother Abel. And we read the story like, man, this nigga was mad because he brought the wrong offering and he killed Abel because Abel brought the right offering. Yeah, but if we dive deep into it, we're going to understand, well, how did you even get there? How did you even get to to the thought process that you could kill a man and just get away with it? Yeah, I heard that. Somebody hit their head. Read.
And of the fat thereof.
Right. Let's read verse 1.
Verse 1?
Yeah, Genesis 4:1.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife.
Right.
And she conceived and bare Cain.
Go ahead.
And said, I have gotten a man from the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And she said again, bare his brother Abel. And Abel was the keeper of sheep.
Right.
But Cain was a tiller of the ground.
Right, so you had these two brothers that had two professions. One was a tiller of the ground, one was a keeper of the sheep. Go ahead.
And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord.
Right.
And Abel he also brought of the firstling of his flock.
Go ahead.
And of the fat thereof.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
Right, now, let's just think about it. And I know you all know. Obviously, if Abel brought the firstlings of his flock, because he brought what he had, right? Because you can read this and say, well, they both brought what they had. What was the problem with that? Abel had the flock, Cain had the ground. They both brought what they had. What's the problem?
Cain had, he didn't want to humble himself down to even ask.
Go ahead, keep talking.
He didn't want to humble himself down to even ask for a flock because he didn't want to seem like he needed something.
Right. See, think about it. It wasn't that Cain wasn't taught what to bring. He knew exactly what to bring for an offering to the Lord. He knew what was required. See, the thing here wasn't, it wasn't fair. The Most High didn't teach him. Hell no, the Most High taught him. But what happened is forward thoughts separate from the Most High. He started to be forward in his thinking like, shit, I ain't gonna go to that nigga for no. Just like a prideful man would do, right? Who was born first? Cain, older brother. That pride in that older man that I'm not gonna go to this younger brother for anything. I don't need him for nothing. I'm gonna just bring what I got. Now, that's the issue, right? Where sometimes we look at, sometimes you got older men. I feel like we deal with it here in this school, where some of you older bros, you look at age. You look at the age of who's in front of you and not what's being said. And it inhibits you from coming to brothers to say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. Hey, this is what's going on with me. Hey, I'm having this issue. Hey, I'm not having that issue. We're not looking at you because of your age that you should know. Right? We're not looking at your age. Some of you sisters do the same thing where you got younger sisters that have been around longer in the camp. And you're like, well, she's younger. How can she possibly know more than me? Well, she just might in the spirit. Now, you may have a more extensive life experience, but that's not what you're going off of. That's not what you're seeking counsel on. Life experiences, right? Like when you pull up on a brother like, hey, I'm dealing with such and such. I don't jump into my life experience to give you the answer. I go here, right? Then we mix here with the life experience to know what works and what doesn't work. Y'all get that? But some of us, I feel, you're looking at age and not what's being said. You're looking at, I'm old and I should know these things. Well, you don't. You don't. Right? You don't know. It's okay. But we're going to be like Cain? You gonna slay your brother because he knows and you don't? You gonna be pissed off because he knows what to bring and you don't in that day? Just think. I want you to think about it. Just think about it. Because what tends to happen is, instead of acknowledging that, wait a minute, I didn't make the right steps, you start getting angry with the circumstance. And who controls the circumstance? So who you start to get angry with? Right. You start to get angry with the Most High, but then who do you take it out on?
Everybody else around you.
The men and the brothers and sisters around you. Right? Because you can't take it out on the Lord. You can't reach him. Right? But that murderous mind that was in Cain could be in any one of us. Where does it start? Well, it first starts with looking at man and not looking at what the Most High put in front of us to grow. We're all supposed to be here to ask one another, right? If I need something, and I know he got it, I'm gonna ask. And he's older than me, right? I be asking him for things, right? He's an old man, right?
I'm always asking him for things. He's giving me advice, and I'm the old man.
He's the old man right here, man. This guy is the ancient of days right here. Right?
5 months.
Right? No, that's what it says. Right. Well, y'all see, the point is, we're not looking at, oh, he's older, he's younger, he's this, he's that. We're looking at who has the answers, who has the wisdom. right? Because that's what it's about. But if I start to look at the physical things, because that's what Cain did. I'm not going to go to my younger bro. I shouldn't have to. I'm not going to go to him, but how else were you going to get what you needed to serve the Lord? How else was he going to get it? Well, he didn't. He took it upon himself to bring what he wanted, right? So read on.
Verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect.
So the Most High didn't respect Cain's, was it really his offering? Well, yeah, it was the offering, but the fact that he wouldn't humble himself. Most High didn't respect Cain because he wouldn't humble himself, man, to even just go ask his brother. So instead of humbling himself, he gets mad at his brother. What sense does that make? Read on.
And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
His countenance fell. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth?
Right. Now, I want you to hold where you're at. And I want you to go to, whoa, hold on.
Can I go on?
You gonna go where I'm going?
Probably. It's a private scripture.
Is what?
It's a private scripture.
Go to Psalms 10 and 4.
That wasn't one of them.
Oh, okay. Go to Psalms 10 and 4 real quick.
God.
Yeah, we go there. I don't got that. Go to Psalms 10 and verse 4. Go ahead.
Psalm chapter 10 verse 4. The wicked through the pride of his countenance.
See, the wicked through the pride of his countenance. Go ahead.
Will not seek after God.
He will not what?
Seek after God.
See, and this is what Cain was on. He wasn't trying to seek after how to really please the Most High with his sacrifice. Or else, what would he have done? He would have went to Abel and got what was needed. If he was really trying to seek after the Most High, he would have went and got what was needed. But pride shut that down and was like, nah, if you got to go ask him, you can do it a different way. So now he automatically takes himself out of trying to seek after the Most High. Y'all see how it works? It's like a cause and effect type of thing. It's like a catch-22 type of thing. And it ain't no catch. It just is what it is. Where you do one thing and one thing is bound to happen. Go ahead.
God is not in all his thoughts.
God is not in his thoughts. Like, forward thoughts separate from the Most High. So we have to realize and watch out for the forward thoughts that pop up in us. The why do I got to do it that way? The why do I got to go to them? The why do I got to deal with him type of mentality. You got brothers in here. Some of y'all are dealing with, yes, I think most of the brothers in here are older than me. I always say it, right? Except for boom, boom, and lock a rock. And we're going. So it's like 5 of them. But the point is, some of y'all have the same ailments that the young bros have. Relationships, relationship issues, this issue, that issue. And instead of saying I'm dealing with these things at my house or in the house, in my home, what do? You try to shelter that situation. Oh, I'm gonna deal with that on my own. I'm gonna take care of it. I got it. Do you? Ask yourself, do you?
You know, instead of like what you're saying, and going to a brother and asking for help. But you know what's worse?
Read.
Is when you go to a brother or you go to a sister and you ask for the help and they give you the spiritual counsel that you need to band-aid your home, to heal your home, your household, your relationship, whatever's going on. You still choose to do what you want to do. You still want, the pride in you is like, whether it's because of the person's age or you don't feel like they got enough stripes, you got more stripes than them, you feel like, you know what, yeah, he said that, she said that, but I'm still gonna do this. Yeah, thanks for the advice. Thanks, brother. Thanks for the advice. Thanks, sis, for the advice. But nothing, the situation that you asked or you sought advice for, because you sought the Most High first. Oh Lord, help me. Yahweh Shai, please, somebody, help me. Send up all your prayers, fasting, strong prayers, and then the answer comes to you. But the answer don't look or sound the way that you want it to sound. The answer and the fix to the problem ain't what you had in mind. So what was the use of asking? What was the use of even praying? It was pointless to even pray to the Most High and ask the Most High for help, because your pride won't allow you to accept help from the Most High. That's your pride that's keeping you from accepting help from the one that you asked help from. It don't make sense. Why even pray? Why even do the sacrifices and the vain oblations? When it don't mean nothing, you're still gonna do what you had in mind.
I'm just communicating, that's why.
Oh yeah. You don't do one part.
Just communicating.
Con.
Just covering my bases. Right? Read on.
Verse 5.
Right?
His ways are always grievous.
Read that again.
His ways are always grievous.
A prideful man.
His ways are always grievous.
Yeah. Didn't we just read that it said a man with forward thoughts? It said he pour out all abominations. Think about it. Are you always grieved in the spirit? You always got grievances? Well, you might have to check your pride. It said his ways are grievous. Go ahead.
Thy judgments are far above out of his sight.
You see that? The judgments of the Lord. What are the judgments of the Lord? What does that mean? God's judgments. Remember in Psalms 119:9, he said he showed his way unto Jacob, his laws and statutes unto Israel. Right? He had dealt this way with any nation, and his judgments, they have not known them. What does it mean by his judgments? Anybody? What are the judgments? What does that mean? When it says his judgments are above out of his sight. Come on, y'all. Look, come on, man. Look, somebody get a defibrillator and let's resuscitate him. Come on, y'all. I know. These pride classes suck. I know. But let's deal with it. What does it mean? His judgment. What? Yashkar.
Isn't it like his blessings and his curses? Because,
Well, you're kind of right, but I want you to reword it a little bit. You're right. You're right. It's what I'm on.
It's how his judgments is how he operates.
Right, how he would conclude a matter. You see that? Okay, I got this issue. How do I proceed in fixing? The judgment is the fix or the conclusion of a matter. You see that? Or how to proceed in a matter. So, Shalamak, man, this woman is getting on my damn nerves. I want to kick her down the steps. Okay, well, what do the judgments of the Lord say? The Bible says, be not a striker. The Bible says, dwell with your wife according to knowledge. The Bible says all these different judgments, right?
Love your wife as Christ loved the church.
Right, it gives you all this wisdom so you can make this judgment that kicking her down the steps wouldn't be biblical. What do some men do? Well, I ain't gonna kick her down the steps, I'm gonna just punch her in the face. Well, damn, you might as well have kicked her down the steps too. Because it's all the same. Your judgment was wrong in how you executed or ended that matter. So when it says that his judgments are far above out of his sight, because that's what happens when we separate. When Cain decided to kill Abel, the judgments of the Lord was way out of his mind. He wasn't thinking like, thou shalt not murder. And that a murderer, you kill, you should be killed. He wasn't thinking that. He wasn't thinking, wait a minute, I gotta love my brother. Right? All the different wisdom that the Most High gave Cain through his father and mother. That automatically went out the one door. He walked into one door and out the other of wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Y'all see that? Because he automatically separated his mind from the mind of the Lord. That's what pride does. Go ahead, read on.
And for all his enemies, he puffeth at them.
Right? Read 6.
He hath said in his heart,
Right?
I shall not be moved.
And this is what pride does. I ain't gonna be moved off this pride. I'm gonna stand on my square. Y'all heard that? I'm gonna stand on my square. I'm not gonna be moved in this. I'm gonna stand my ground. Some of us stand our ground in the wrong things. Some of us stand our ground and it's rooted in pride, and instead of being rooted in faith, rooted in wisdom. Was it Monday's class when we went through those attributes in 2 Peter 1? Right? Faith, temperance, brotherly love, holiness, righteousness. Instead of being rooted in those things, pride is what anchors some of us down. That's what's holding you steady. And you're like, I'm good. I'm great. I'm fine. I'm gonna stand right here on this island where you're not seeing the judgments of the Lord are trying to hit you, because they're above your head now. Read on.
For I shall never be in adversity.
Right? Go ahead.
His mouth is full of cursing.
Wait, what?
His mouth is full of
See,
cursing.
now it goes into attributes of this type of person. You think that when Cain was killing Abel, he was doing it silently? Man, he was cursing and grievous and all the negative things that come out of a man that they can commit that act. Go ahead.
And deceit and fraud.
Deceit and fraud. Right? Cain, what have thou done? Am I my brother's keeper? Right? Your brother's blood crieth from the earth. I don't know where he's at. Fraud and deceit, man. Go ahead.
Under his tongue is mischief and vanity.
Right. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Jump back to Genesis. Damn, the time be. Jump back to Genesis.
God.
Let's finish it real quick. Where you at?
On verse 5. Verse 5, yes.
Right, go ahead.
And unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
Right, and through that pride of his countenance, he was able to follow his pride. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth?
Right, read.
And why is thy countenance fallen?
Uh-huh.
If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted.
What is the doing well? Is it just, I'm just going to do good? What is it?
It's following the law. Following the
Pertaining to the class, what is it? The doing well,
following the judgments of the Most High. Like set up.
walking the path that he laid down for you.
Right.
Walking that path and not letting your own high opinion of how you think you should go or which way interfere with the path that's being laid down for us. We all got a thought that how things should go, right? I mean, right or wrong? Let's be real. Right? We all have a thought on how things should go, but is anybody really sitting back and saying, wait a minute, I know I want things to go this way or that way. Or I know things can go in a multitude of different ways. I want to go this way. And then sitting back and examining that way and looking for the pitfalls, and man, if I go that way, I could already see that, damn, if I go, there's a big hole in the floor. If I go that way. Now I know, I mean, this way right here, it looks good. I don't see no low hanging trees or anything to trip over, or this way is just the Bible, studying and communication and counseling and all those different things that we are like, I don't gotta do that. I don't gotta do that. I can just take this path and watch. I can just jump over the hole in the road. I could jump over that and make it to the other side. If I could avoid the spiritual things and use my physical abilities to just jump, I'll be fine. Right? No? That don't never happen to nobody? Not nobody in here, right? Because everybody's walking that path of where it says to counsel, where it says to communicate, where it says to confess your faults, right? Where it says to be brotherly, where it says to endeavor to keep the bond, the spirit of peace. We're all walking that path. Nobody's looking at the other paths, right? Con?
God. What is
Con. I know. Y'all like, man, shut up. When we going home? Go ahead, read on.
And if thou doest not well, sin lies at the door.
Right, read on.
And unto thee shall be his desire.
Right, read on.
And thou shalt rule over him.
Read 8.
Oh. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother.
Right.
And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him.
Right.
And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother?
Go ahead.
And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Right. So we understand how that story ended. Go to 2 Maccabees 9 and verse 1.
God.
2 Maccabees 9 and 1. Let's read another story of a man that thought very highly, that had an exaggerated opinion of himself and thought very highly. Read that. 2 Maccabees chapter 9. 9 and 1, yep.
2 Maccabees chapter 9, verse 1. About that time came Antiochus with dishonor out of the country of Persia.
Go ahead.
For he had entered the city called Persepolis, and went about to rob the temple,
Right.
and to hold the city, whereupon the multitude running to defend themselves with their weapons put them to fight.
Right.
And it so happened that Antiochus, being put to flight of the inhabitants, returned with shame.
Right, so what is it going into? Antiochus, right? He went in to fight the inhabitants of the city, and they whooped him and sent him fleeing, and he was put to shame. Go ahead.
Now when he came to Ecbatana, news was brought him what had happened unto Nicanor and Timotheus. Then swelling with anger, he thought to avenge upon the Jews the disgrace done unto him by those that made him flee.
Right, so go ahead.
Therefore commanded he his chariot man to drive without ceasing,
Right.
and to dispatch the journey, the judgment of God now following him.
Wait, the what?
The judgment of God now following him.
But as we're gonna read, there was a level of pride that was on this man that was so great. He didn't see the judgments following him. Remember that the judgments of God are way above his head. It said the judgments of the Most High was following this cat. And he couldn't see. He couldn't see that, wait a minute. If I didn't chill out and just calm myself, the Most High was going to avenge on me. He wasn't seeing that. All he was seeing was what? The path that he wanted to go. He gets his ass whooped by this countryman that he wants to go take it out on the Jews. Like, what sense does that make? They didn't do nothing to you. But see, his pride is what propelled him down this path that we're going to read about. Go ahead.
For he had spoken proudly in this sort, that he would come to Jerusalem.
He would do what?
He would come to Jerusalem.
Hold up, homie. Hold up. Hold up. You just got beat by the Persians. Why are you coming to Jerusalem for? Go ahead.
And make it a common burying place of the Jews.
Think about that. Like, I'm gonna turn this whole city into a graveyard. Read.
But the Lord Almighty, the power of Israel, smote him with an incurable and invisible plague.
Go ahead. I always love this story. I always laugh. Go ahead, read.
For as soon as he had spoken these words, a pain of the bowels.
A what?
A pain of the bowels.
So, what are we learning here? Well, where does a lot of sickness come from? Huh?
Inside of you.
But where does a lot of sickness come from? Now y'all are looking at it like physically.
Oh.
Like, oh,
Most
like
High.
what part? Con, right? What does the scripture say? Doesn't it say something about, what does it say?
Well, as far as like the sickness, it comes from our thoughts, our mind,
Very
the
true.
forward mind.
Very true. You're right. What?
Scripture says to humble thyself before thou get sick.
Right. It says, humble thyself before thou be sick.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is an example of a man so caught up in his own conceit of how he wants to execute something that it made him sick. Well, we know the Most High made him sick, right? Why? What did the Most High just make him sick just to make him sick? What was that sickness designed to do? To humble him, right? To throw him off the path. Y'all see that? To throw him off that path of pride. Like he opened up a door and you went through the wrong entrance, man. And the Most High is like, I'm gonna pause you. Here's this incurable bowels syndrome. Here goes this, what do they call it? Leaky gut. Right, here goes this bowel syndrome. What is it? Irritable, I hit IBS. He hit him with the IBS, right? That was supposed to slow him down. Especially if it came out of nowhere. That was supposed to, wait, hold on, the Most High is dealing with me. But he didn't pick up on the cues. Remember, it said the judgments of the Lord were behind him?
Yeah.
He didn't pick up that, wait a minute, this is the Most High checking me for the things that I'm saying, for the way that I'm moving. Y'all get this?
God.
Ecclesiasticus 18 and 21 real fast. How much? That is 7,400. Bro, please. That is 7,400. Oh my God. Go ahead, read.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 18, verse 21.
Right?
Humble thyself before thou be sick.
He said, do what?
Humble thyself before thou be sick.
Yeah, you need to step back. Step back and observe. See, part of humility is the ability to observe what's going on around you and acknowledge who's doing what. That's humility. Or part of humility. To step back and say, wait a minute. I didn't bring these things upon myself. The Most High is dealing with me. Humble thyself before thou be sick. But this man didn't want to do that. So, where we at?
2 Maccabees chapter 9, verse 5.
Right?
Last precept. A pain of the bowels that was remediless came upon him,
Right?
and sore torments of the inner parts.
Go ahead.
Verse 6. And that most justly, for he had tormented other men's bowels with many and strange torments.
Yeah, he didn't even sit back and think like, man, what was I doing to other men that I deserved this? He didn't care. He was set hell-bent on his prideful path. Go ahead.
Howbeit he nothing at all seized from his bragging.
You see that? He nothing at all. This is what pride does. Pride will put you up so high that you, no matter what's going on with you, no matter how the Most High is dealing with you, no matter what torments, what check, what judgment, you'll still sit there like, I'm good. I'll get through it. I can deal with it. It don't hurt that bad. You'll brag in pride. Go ahead.
But still was filled with pride.
He was filled with pride, man. Go ahead.
Breathing out fire in his rage against the Jews.
Go ahead.
And commanding to haste the journey. But it came to pass that he fell down from his chariot, carried violently, so that having a sore fall, all the members of his body were much pained.
Yeah, it took to where this dude had to fall out the chariot and get dragged and bust up his whole body. He's all sore, body hurting, guts just on fire. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And thus, he that a little afar thought he might command the waves of the
See,
sea.
this is how prideful Antiochus was, that he could command the waves of the sea. He thought that he was God. He thought that he was Christ. Right? Remember when Yahweh Shai said that he tame the waves, and they were like, man, this man can rebuke the sea. What manner of man is this? Right? Antiochus thought that he was Christ, that he could control waves, that he had the power of God. But see, the Most High was showing him, because of his pride, that no, you don't have these powers. And yet and still, this is what pride was doing. It's almost like, it's like the thing with pride is that it's so toxic, it almost energizes you. If you're not pulled out of that mind. Y'all see that? It's like if you're not shaken out of that mind of pride, it'll just energize that negative in you. And it'll be like a battery that just keeps you going. It's almost like, man, it's so weird now that I'm thinking about it. Some of us get into this prideful mode, and the pride is so thick that it almost shields you from feeling what the Most High is doing to you. It's almost like you're shielded, and it numbs you to the things that the Most High is trying to show you. Y'all see that? A lot of us are going through things in life, and you're numb. Why? Well, because you got pride telling you that no, that ain't what it is, and it's going to be all right, and that it ain't the Most High that's checking you. You're Job, right? Most High checked Job. Most High was doing that to Job. Or that the things that you're dealing with, you're not deserving of those things. You're not deserving of the judgment that's happening to you. It's going to be all right. Just keep doing what you're doing, sis. Keep doing what you're doing, bruh. That's the mind. And pride is like this armor, this shield that you put on, and it literally blocks out the feelings of it blocks out what you're supposed to feel. Y'all are supposed to, I'm saying y'all, but we're supposed to feel that check. Why? Why are we supposed to feel when the Most High is dealing with us? Why is it important?
Because it's supposed to make us change.
Right. You're supposed to feel it to know that you're doing something wrong. You're supposed to feel the check. It's not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to motivate you to do the opposite.
And I was going to say, the scripture tells that the Most High chastises those he loves. So we know his face isn't turned from us if we're getting checked.
Mm-hmm.
We know that he's still dealing with us, and we're not so far gone that
You're in that reprobate mind?
that we're not being dealt with by him.
Yeah, you were supposed to feel that, man. But some of us try to avoid that, and we put on this cloak of pride that blocks out the feeling, and you tell yourself, like, that's not the Most High. That's not the Most High dealing with me like that. That's coincidence. That's chance. That's just karma. Hell no, that ain't karma, because all that is the Most High. He's karma, he's chance, he's coincidence, he's purpose, right? All that is controlled by the Lord. I don't care what you believe. The Most High controls that. Finish it up.
So proud was he beyond the condition of man.
Yeah, he had the pride that was hateful before God and man. It said he was beyond the condition of man. Go ahead.
And weighed the high mountains in a balance.
Right.
Was now cast on the ground and carried in horse litter.
Yeah, you see how the Most High had to break him? He had to turn him into a pile of walking crap. Go ahead.
Showing forth unto all the manifest power of the Most High.
Right.
So that the world.
Wait, no. He showed it to only him.
Showing forth unto all the manifest power.
The Most High broke him down in front of everybody. That's the problem with pride. You think that it's protecting you, but when the Most High finally breaks that pride, he'll break you in front of everybody. Look at Pharaoh. I didn't throw him in here, but look at Pharaoh. Most High broke Pharaoh in front of everybody. And all the prideful men of the scriptures, they were broken openly. They were prideful openly, so they were broken openly. Go ahead.
The manifest power of the Most High.
Right.
Verse 9. So that the worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man.
Think about that. You walking around, you got worms coming out your skin. Go ahead.
And whilst he lived in sorrow and pain, his flesh fell away.
Yeah, you walking around, you got skin-eating diseases. This is crazy, man. You got people walking around with straight up leprosy and prideful. Like the Most High is turning you into a leper. He's ripping your skin off your body. And you got the nerve to talk about I'm cute, running around with spaghetti straps and trying to show that off. Hell no, the Most High is shit in. Like, I don't know, this happened because I used the wrong soap. Okay, sis, you're right. So it ain't your pride. It ain't none of the things that you're doing. It's the wrong soap. You should have used Dove and you used Ivory. My bad. But that's the problem. We got too many Antiochuses.
And then the pride hits them. They use the Dove and like, see, I told you. That's all it was.
Yeah, that's all it was. The skin don't come back. Because it start falling off somewhere else. Listen, I'm trying to. These are real stories, right? These are real facts.
God.
It's like Charlie Murphy, true Hollywood stories. These are true Israelite stories.
God.
It sound funny, but pride is a hell of a drug.
God.
See how I did that in there? Go ahead, read it. I ain't funny. Read.
His flesh fell away, and the filthiness of his smell was noisome to all his army.
Damn, think about it. You so stink, it's noisy. You so stink, it's like a loud noise. Most High crushed this cat, man, but this is where pride gets you. Go ahead.
And the man that thought in it afore he could reach to the stars of heaven,
right?
No man can endure to carry for his intolerable stink.
Like this nigga thought he could fly to the sky. He thought he was God. But nobody wants to be around him because of the way he smelled. You could fly to the moon and touch the stars, but you can't even cleanse the stink on your own body. You can't even keep the skin on your flesh from falling off. You can't get rid of the doo-doo smell on the worms. Imagine that. Go ahead.
Verse 11. He therefore, being plagued